Okay, I'm Art Wilder, and I'm the project leader by default on Curtis Museum reproduction of the 1914 Curtis America, which is the granddaddy of all the multi-engine flying boats. And these are the wings. The upper wing is 72 feet long, and there's 5 sections to the upper. This one right here is an upper outer. This one goes inboard of that. And then the next one you see back in here is the center upper. And then there's 2 more sections on the other end of that. The lower wing is in 2 sections plus the section that's on the fuselage. And the lower span of this airplane is 42 feet. These are covered now. We have one section in the shop that's not covered, but these have been covered with the Stitz polyfiber system that Consolidated Coatings has donated to us graciously, and they have been treated with the poly brush treatment, which is the first after you heat shrink it with a clothes iron very carefully at real careful temperatures. Then it's covered with this pink material, which is the poly brush, and that seals the pores of the material. And then the rib stitching, which is these bumps you see here, and you'll see some exposed down there where we haven't got the tape on them yet. But that stitch, that's called a rib lacing or a rib stitching, and that stitch goes all the way through the wing and back the other side. And if you look at the directions, picture the directions, it kind of like you're looking at a plate of spaghetti, but actually it's a modified seine knot, which is a continuous string all the way through, and you tie the individual knots and then pass the string under with a curved rib lacing needle, and the whole thing is really one continuous string, and each knot is independent, and the knot is effectively a square knot with a half hitch on each side of it, and it's very strong. It holds the fabric onto the wing, so the upper surface is in the airplane where the upper surface is under pressure, where the vacuum gives you the lift, it keeps the material from lifting off the frame of the wing, and it also holds the bottom in, and these wings have a slight under camber to them, and it keeps the fabric up against the cap strips of the ribs all the way down the wing. Then it has yet to do is to finish the finish. This is a finish taping, which is a pinked polyfiber material, and then we haven't yet done the edging taping on these. Then after that's done, it gets several spray coats, which gives it the UV protection, and then the final paint coat. This one's going to be kind of a red, which we're duplicating what's described in the literature in the original America when it was built in 1914. And reds are kind of hard to determine what they actually were, and we don't have any color photos of the airplane back originally, so we're kind of taking a stab at it and going with a pretty brilliant red. The reason for the red was so they could find it if it went down in the ocean, as the intention of this airplane was to fly the North Atlantic in 1914. It never made the trip, but it did become a significant warplane, really, for the Royal Navy, and there were quite a few more of them built in various configurations, and then they started getting bigger and bigger, and it's really the grandfather of all the multi-engine flying boats. We expect to have this one ready to fly next September 16th at our 5th annual Seaplane Homecoming here in Hammondsport. And earlier this year I would have said we don't have much of a chance of making that date, but I feel pretty confident now that we'll make it. The whole project is coming along real well. Okay. These cables sticking out of this upper outer wing section are for the aileron controls, and we had to kind of plan ahead because it's a shame to cut through this covering after you get it all done. But we think we've got it all figured out, and those cables run down to internal pulleys, which you see out here, you see the bump in the wing there is where that, we'll cut that away and put a reinforcing patch on it. But the cable will come out there and then go back about to here, which is the, to the horn on the aileron. And that, there's two places, actually, there's two controls. This aileron is 18 feet long, which is a little bit enormous. And so the cables run, one cable runs by this pulley, one comes out this pulley, and then the other one goes down to another pulley near the outboard end. And we think we've got everything inside that we need just by figuring ahead. A little about the shape of this wing. This is, as far as we can determine, the same airfoil that was used in the original America. And from our data, it's we think this wing. You notice it's got a little bit of an under camber to it. It's, as far as our information we have, it's an RAF-6 modified airfoil. We're kind of the opinion that on airfoils, not any of us being scientists in that field, that probably any reasonably good airfoil would work as long as you push it through the air fast enough. This one, of course, is about a 60-mile-an-hour airplane. It's got a huge wing area. The wing loading on this is pounds per square foot loading is actually less than a Piper Cub. So we're thinking it'll fly real well, particularly with a reasonably low fuel load. What else can you say about the wing? You'll see in the wing section that isn't covered in the shop, you'll see how this is constructed, and the way, without the UV protection on it, this first coat of polybrush, you can actually see the light through and kind of figure out the structure underneath it. It's all wood.